In the bustling terminal of Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, on a crisp October afternoon in 2025, the air smelled of coffee, jet fuel, and hurried goodbyes. Crowds surged toward gates, roller bags clattered, announcements overlapped in a constant low roar. Amid it all, at 42, Dominic Dom Reyes moved like he belonged nowhere in particular. Dark jeans, plain gray hoodie, baseball cap, pulled low, no watch, no flash. To the thousands rushing past, he was just another traveler heading east after a few days in California handling quiet business that never made headlines. Dom didn't believe in chance encounters. He believed in signals, subtle shifts in posture, the weight of a held breath, the fraction of a second when eyes met and something unspoken passed between two strangers. He noticed her near gate 52. A 21-year-old woman walked beside a man who controlled her pace with a hand on her upper arm. She wore a soft cervical collar, the rigid white kind doctors prescribe after neck trauma. A faint bruise shadowed her jawline, partially concealed by makeup that didn't quite match. She moved with deliberate care, each step measured, as though she'd learned that sudden motion invited pain. As they passed within arm's reach, she didn't speak, didn't stop. She simply lifted her left hand, palm facing outward, fingers together, thumb tucked, for half a second before dropping it back to her side. No one else registered it. Dom did. That gesture had a name, the signal for help. Palm out, thumb tucked inside four fingers. A silent SOS created years earlier for domestic violence victims to ask for rescue without alerting their abuser. It had spread across social media, taught in shelters, whispered in safe spaces. Most people never saw it in real life. Dom had. His pulse didn't spike. It steadied. Recognition settled cold and certain in his chest. The man, mid-40s, clean-shaven, button-down shirt tucked neatly into chinos, leather, messenger bag, kept his grip light but constant. He spoke low. She nodded once, mechanical. They continued toward the gate for Flight 1872 to Newark. Dom followed at a distance, blending into the flow of passengers. He sat 2 rows behind them in the waiting area, laptop open but ignored. He watched. The woman, dark hair in a loose braid, oversized hoodie swallowing her frame, sat perfectly still, hands folded, eyes fixed on the carpet. The man scrolled his phone, occasionally glancing at her with the practiced concern of someone playing a role. To everyone else, they looked like a concerned relative escorting an injured family member. To Dom, the dynamic screamed control. Boarding began. Dom was in first class, seat 2A. They were in economy, row 19. He boarded last, noting their seats as he passed, her by the window, him on the aisle, middle empty. Before takeoff, the man stood and headed to the lavatory. For the first time since Dom had seen them, she was alone. Dom moved down the aisle casually, as though checking overhead bins. He paused at row 19. "Excuse me," he said softly. She turned, startled. Her hand flew to the collar, a reflexive shield. "I'm sorry to bother you," Dom continued, voice low and calm. "I noticed the brace. Are you okay? Do you need anything? Water, a pillow?" For a heartbeat, something flickered in her hazel eyes. Surprise, maybe the ghost of hope, then vanished. She shook her head. "I'm fine, thank you." Her tone was rehearsed, polite, practiced. "The man you're traveling with. He's my step-uncle, helping me get home after a fall. I'm okay, really." Dom studied her. She held his gaze, convincing on the surface. But beneath the armrest, out of the man's line of sight, her fingers trembled against her thigh. "All right," Dom said gently. "Take care of yourself." He started to walk away. Her hand lifted again, same signal. Palm out, thumb tucked, fingers pressed tight. 1 second, then gone. Dom kept moving, expression neutral, mind already shifting gears. He returned to his seat. The man came back. The plane pushed back, taxied, lifted off. At cruising altitude, Dom unbuckled, walked aft. On his return, he crouched beside her row. The man was dozing, head tilted back, mouth slightly open. Dom leaned in, voice barely above a whisper. "I saw the signal." Her eyes snapped to his. Fear, confusion, fragile hope. "I know what it means," he continued. "When we land, I'm not walking away. I need you to keep acting normal, exactly the way you've been. Don't change anything. Can you do that for the next few hours? She glanced at the sleeping man, then back. A single tear escaped. She wiped it fast. He asked quietly, "He's not your uncle, is he?" She shook her head once, tiny, almost invisible. "Name?" "Lila," she breathed. "How long?" "4 months." "Is he taking you somewhere against your will?" Nod. "Does he have your ID, phone?" Another nod. "Has he hurt you?" Her fingers brushed the collar, then the bruise on her jaw. No words needed. "Okay," Dom said. "Stay calm. Do what you've been doing. I'll handle the rest." "Why?" she whispered. "Because no one should have to signal for help in silence," and he said. "And because I failed someone once, I won't again." He returned to his seat and began making calls, short, coded, to people who moved when he spoke. Newark Liberty International at dusk was a swarm of tired travelers, fluorescent lights, and echoing announcements. Dom deplaned first, positioned himself near the gate, watched. The man, now identified through a quick background poll as Nathan Caldwell, 44, claims adjuster from Columbus, Ohio, emerged steering Lila by the elbow. They headed to baggage claim, and then ground transportation. Dom's team was already in motion, 2 SUVs trailing at a discreet distance. He climbed into the second vehicle. The taxi they took drove 40 minutes, through Newark into suburban New Jersey, finally stopping at a modest ranch-style house on a quiet cul-de-sac in Maplewood. Peeling shutters, overgrown shrubs, for sale sign half hidden in the weeds. Ideal for someone who wanted to disappear. Dom's SUV parked 2 doors down. His second-in-command, Marco, slid into the back seat with a tablet. House is in his name, bought cash 3 weeks ago, no mortgage, no visible security. Neighbors are elderly or absentee landlords. No one will notice much. Background? Nathan Caldwell, clean record, divorced 5 years ago. Ex has full custody of their teenage son. Online activity, joined a traditional relationship forums 18 months back. Posts about training partners, targeting women from unstable backgrounds. Lila aged out of foster care in Ohio last spring, posted online about needing temporary housing. He responded within hours. Dom scrolled photos, screenshots of forum threads, messages bragging about breaking her in, choking incident when she tried to call a friend. Strangulation 2 months ago, Marco added quietly. He told her it was discipline. She's been isolated since. Phone confiscated, ID held, no access to money. Dom looked at the house. Lights on in the living room. Shadows moving behind curtains. How many on site? 6 total, perimeter covered. Quiet entry team ready. Dom nodded. Call Elena. Tell her I need a bed tonight. Young woman, severe trauma, no support network. Medical, psych, legal, full wraparound. Elena ran a discreet nonprofit Dom funded anonymously, specialists in high-risk extractions from abusive situations. She's ready, Elena confirmed on speaker. Private residence in the Hudson Valley. On-site nurse, trauma therapist, attorney, no questions, no cost. Send her with an escort. Good, we'll have her there by 2200. Inside the house, Lila sat on a sagging sectional, hands clasped tight. Nathan moved through the rooms, locking doors, drawing blinds, humming tunelessly. We'll stay here tonight, he said, false warmth in his voice. Rest. Tomorrow we head upstate, our new place. No one to bother us, just you and me starting fresh. Lila nodded. She'd learned compliance bought time, bought breath. He sat beside her, stroked her arm. She didn't pull away. You were perfect on the plane, he murmured. So calm. I'm proud. Thank you, she whispered. He kissed her temple. When you listen, everything's easy. When you don't, his fingers brushed the collar, pressed lightly. Reminder, she closed her eyes, clung to the memory of the man in first class, his promise, his calm. Outside, night fell. Dom's team moved in, silent, professional. No masks. This wasn't a heist. It was an intervention. At 8:15 p.m., Dom and Marco walked to the front door. Dom rang the bell. Footsteps. Nathan's voice through the wood. Who is it? Delivery, Dom called. Package for this address? I didn't order anything. Needs signature. Official. Locks turned. Door cracked. Nathan saw Dom, the man from the plane. Alarm flashed. He tried to slam the door. Dom's palm caught it, held firm. We need to talk, Dom said quietly. Get the hell out. This is private. Dom pushed gently. Door swung wider. Marco stepped in behind. Nathan backed up. You can't just... Dom closed the door softly. We can, and we are. Lila appeared in the hallway, froze. Dom's expression softened instantly. Lila, he said gently, are you hurt right now? She shook her head. Good. Go upstairs. Find a room with a lock. Go inside, lock it, stay there until I personally tell you it's safe. Can you? Nathan snarled, she doesn't listen to you. She's not yours, Dom cut in, voice ice. She's never been yours. Lila hesitated, then moved up the stairs, door shut, lock clicked. Nathan lunged after her. Marco intercepted, palm flat on chest, pushed him back against the wall. Don't, Marco said. Dom gestured to the living room. Sit. Nathan sat, shaking. Dom remained standing. I know who you are, Dom began. I know the forums, the messages, the photos you took without consent, the chokehold, the training, all of it. Nathan paled. I have screenshots, timestamps, IP traces. One tap, and it goes to Columbus TD, your ex-wife, your son's school, your employer. Your life ends, not with handcuffs, but with everyone knowing exactly what you are. You're bluffing. Dom pulled out his phone, turned the screen. Forum posts, photos, bragging texts. Nathan's shoulders collapsed. Or, Dom continued, we end this differently. You hand over her ID, driver's license, social security card, birth certificate, everything. You sign a notarized statement saying she was a guest and is leaving voluntarily. You delete every file, every photo, every trace. You give me passwords to any accounts you forced her to open. And then, Nathan whispered, you disappear from her life. You check into court-mandated therapy, specialist in coercive control, weekly sessions, reports to me for 2 years minimum. You never search for her, never contact her. You forget she exists. Nathan stared. If I refuse? Dom leaned in. Then we skip polite. My people outside specialize in making sure predators understand consequences. Painfully, permanently. Your choice. 25 minutes later, documents surrendered, files deleted, statement signed, therapy commitment in writing. Marco escorted Nathan to a waiting car, hotel for the night, flight back to Ohio tomorrow, surveillance for 6 months. Dom waited downstairs. When the house was clear, he texted, safe to come down. Lila appeared at the stairs, descended slowly. He's gone, she asked. Gone for good. She sank onto the bottom step, buried her face in her hands, and cried. Deep, wrenching sobs she'd held for months. Dom sat 2 feet away. No touch, no words, just presence. When the crying eased, she wiped her eyes. Why, she asked. 7 years ago, Dom said quietly. I knew a woman, Maria. Worked in one of my legitimate businesses. Showed up with bruises. I asked if she needed help. She said no. I accepted it because walking away was easier. 3 weeks later, she was dead. Beaten by the man she said loved her. I've carried that every day. When I saw your signal, I had a choice. Repeat the mistake or do what I should have done back then. Lila looked at him. Who are you? Someone who believes power should protect, not possess. What happens now? I know people. A safe house upstate, medical care, therapy, legal help. You stay as long as you need, no strings. When you're ready, you decide the rest. She took a shaky breath. Thank you. He offered his hand. She took it, stood. A black SUV waited outside. A woman, Elena's team, opened the door. This is Rachel, Dom said. She'll drive you up. Stay with you tonight. Help you settle. Lila paused at the car. Your name? Dom Reyes. Thank you, Dom Reyes, for seeing me. She got in. The car pulled away. Dom watched the taillights vanish. Later, he called Marco. Gut the house. Donate what's usable. Destroy the rest. Sell the property. Proceeds to Elena's organization. Anonymous. Months passed, a letter arrived, no return address, just Lila signed at the bottom. She was in Portland now. Small apartment, job at a community center teaching empowerment workshops to survivors. Collar gone, bruises faded, therapy ongoing, trust rebuilding slowly. You saved more than my life, she wrote. You gave me proof that someone can look and choose to act. I'm paying it forward. Thank you. 2 years later in Seattle for business, Dom walked out Pike Place Market, heard his name, turned. Lila, now 23, hair shorter, posture open, easy smile. They talked briefly, coffee, laughter, stories of new lives. Before parting, she said, I still teach the signal in every class because you never know who might see it. Dom nodded. Keep teaching. The world needs more people who look. She smiled. Be one of them. He watched her disappear into the crowd, then continued walking. The lesson carved deep in this story is timeless and urgent. Real power isn't measured by how much you can take or control. It's measured by what you choose to protect, especially when no one expects you to, when it's inconvenient, when the easy path is to look away. Attention is the first act of courage. Action is the second. One quiet signal, one moment of noticing, can break chains that have held someone for months or years. Never underestimate the weight of choosing to see, to believe what your eyes tell you over convenient lies, and to step in, not for glory, but because it's right. In a world quick to scroll past suffering, be the one who stops. Be the one who acts. Be the proof that decency still has teeth. If this story of quiet vigilance, redemption through action, and the unbreakable human need for someone to simply see touched you, moved you, reminded you that small choices can rewrite entire lives, please support the channel that shared it. Whispers of Wisdom. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Every bit helps keep these stories flowing. Stories that shine light on courage, compassion, and the quiet power we all hold to change someone's path. Thank you for listening. Keep looking. Keep acting. The next signal might be waiting for you.
Please subscribe to Whispers of Wisdom and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next one. Thank you for being here.